officially recording. SANDCAST podcast.
We're on.
On air.
On air. We have a new sign in the studio, and I wanted Savvy to light it up for the first time. If you're watching on YouTube,
I think we need to upgrade our table. It's back.
It's getting a little crowded.
Yeah, Gabby's hated the table for a while. I think it's like, a little homey, but I guess she's right. We'll upgrade our SANDCAST table.
It's getting crowded. We got the sponsors, Waikea. We got Wilson hanging out. Now we're on air, and today we have some champagne.
Some bubbly?
Some champagne.
Oh, I'm going to let you do it because Travis is a member of fatherhood.
Well done.
There's a new human on Earth, and it's Travis's job to take care of it.
Talk about a terrifying sentence.
I know. It's
congratulations.
Celebrate a little bit. Don't get too late. You got a baby.
Volleyball just took even further backseat in Travis's life.
Yeah.
Tell the pod a little background about the name.
We can let you get the pour in.
Love it.
You guys are a little foamy.
That's all right.
Oh, we're good.
Look at
Sam,
us.
I know you're detoxing. I don't need to give you a super tall pour.
Detoxing from how many nights ago?
Cheers, squad.
Cheers.
Woo.
Oh, yeah. Just the taste.
You had a little champagne shower yesterday.
I did. Mikkel, every time you win an event, you show up in his gym.
So Mikkel
sprays you.
He's got all kinds of champagne. You and Sarah and Kane.
Yeah. I think he's got a whole stock of them in the back maybe now.
You're gonna make Mikkel broke with.
Honestly, and nobody knows about the stuff that he's doing as well. Personally, he's got some big movie stuff coming. Soon, but yeah.
You got champagne for the full squad.
Champagne's
you
just
gotta
good.
win.
Just the smell and the taste is just what you need after a good weekend.
Especially in the gym.
Exactly.
It's a little weird when he's pouring it on your face while you're trying to bench press, but all good.
Yeah, but huge weekend. You had a career high, tied a career high with a fifth. Yeah. You got another win in your first time. Norseka, New Orleans. Got your win. Your win.
It didn't disappoint. It was on par with how I had seen it on Instagram all the other years. There was some kind of rainstorm, but cool people and a cool venue. And
that storm, I have never seen anything like that. Were you at the venue?
No. Dude. I was at the whatever workout facility.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It was the craziest thing. Me and Avery were just getting a serve and pass in. Couple matches were starting, and they said, lightning. It was sunny, windy.
Yeah.
You knew that a storm was coming. And then they go, lightning struck within 6 miles. Everyone get, shelter, you got to go off the beach. No problem. And then in 5 minutes, we were in the middle of a hurricane.
Literally.
And so it was 58 mile an hour winds, which is a category 2 hurricane.
Whoa.
And to watch Wilson just get up and blow away and then explode. What?
I don't even know where I was when it hit like that. I was in the gym. It started raining, and then I jumped in an Uber and went to the hotel. And then I'm seeing all these videos. By the time I got to the hotel in the Uber, I'm like, what?
Well, it literally happened in we were there getting ready to think about warming up, eating lunch, whatever. And I took a video of Travis. He's giving a little weather report. And it was funny. People were getting off the sand originally because they're if lightning hits the sand, whatever. And there's a group of at least 15 of us in the player tent just playing cards, hanging out. The wind picks up, and I'm filming Travis we're fine. Everything's fine. It was kind of funny. Of course, me being from Southern California, I was a little bit this seems a bit should we be in this tent? I don't know. No one's really concerned.
This tent
and
built
then
of
there
metal
was a
poles.
point where it was just I think we need to go inside. The tent felt like it was going to blow away. And then Wilson, right when we got into the bar at Coconut, we turn around and see the ball blowing away. We're like, oh my gosh.
Crazy.
Came out of nowhere. And
the scariest part was when we were in the players' tent. And I've been, having grown up in Maryland and lived in Florida, I've been in tropical storms and hurricanes. Not a lot, but enough.
Right.
But it was when the media tower fell and knocked the 3 AVP VIP tents on one leg. And I was like, the wind is blowing those tents directly in our direction. So if one gets picked up and blown in, the circus tent that we're in is going to go.
Into the tent, yeah.
Yeah. We're probably not coming out. So we should go.
We should.
Yeah.
And then we went.
Jesus.
It was crazy.
Yes. Good memories.
And then
Fun night
30
games.
minutes later, everything was normal. Everyone's just put the venue back together, basically.
Yeah, I think we do owe the AVP a lot of credit. Mm-hmm. I would not have bet any amount of money that we'd be playing full matches or that we'd have played that night.
Right.
And we played that night. Crowd showed up.
Yeah.
Drinks in hand.
Hammered.
Yeah.
Hammered.
They all just stayed and hung out at Coconut and got sauced up.
I don't think they're going to sleep tonight.
No.
Like, they're very energized.
Yeah.
And I'm like ready to go sleep. It's like midnight.
Yeah.
I just kept thinking of that Wolf of Wall Street scene when they're on the boat and it's going down. He's like, I will not die sober.
Oh, yeah.
That's everyone at Coconut Beach. To the bar.
To the bar. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, it's a big weekend. Then I came back and had a kid.
Yeah. How was that experience?
No big deal.
That was the wildest ride.
You don't look too jet lagged.
Well, the fact that she held out everyone was talking about, like, is she gonna, you gonna make it home? And you did.
Yeah, right.
Made it home. I was telling Tri that the craziest thing was around midnight when I got back, her water like partially broke. Some people, when their water breaks, it's just like a water balloon,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
it
most
breaks.
of the time.
Yeah.
But it was like you had poked her water bag with a pin, and it was just like dripping.
Weird.
Yeah, so it was just a really long, drawn out process. So her water broke midnight Sunday night, and we didn't have the kid till 5:38 p.m. on Thursday.
No.
So
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Today.
I was like,
what's
whoa.
today? Friday.
I know,
Sorry.
it's been a weird week.
Time warp. Tuesday. Yeah. It was crazy. But yeah, you asked about the name. So we met in Austin of 2018. And that was where I had played with Rafi. Delaney was playing. You were there.
Yeah.
Delaney was playing with Avery Bush, and who was dating Rafi at the time.
Yeah.
So my group was tethered with Delaney's group. And then it was really funny because Jill Bush, Avery's mom, she's like, Trav, are you single? He's like, yeah. She goes, Delaney's single. I was like, where'd she go? She left. So we met briefly. Then I made it a point to run into her every stop the rest of the year. So Austin is where we met. And then Zaun, obviously, my guy Eric Zaun, the road dog.
Yeah.
So the next generation of road pups is here.
So cute.
Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah. Big kid, big hands, 9 pounds, 4 ounces.
Big hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Delaney's a champ.
Absolute beast. Just like she had 2 nurses who believed in her that she could hold out, no epidural, and it was wild because she was talking about getting it at like 10 in the morning. She held out another 7.5 hours.
Oh, it's okay. Just 7.5 more hours.
Yeah. And one of the doctors
Oh my God.
was like, "Why don't you just get the epidural? Like this isn't fun for you."
Get out of here, doc.
And that's what she said. She was like, "I don't really need to be talking to you." I was like, "Give me my nurses
Get out of
back."
here. Yeah.
And the nurses, they're like, "Listen, if you want to do this, we're going to get you to do this. But we're going to be saying a lot of stuff that you don't want to hear, but you need to hear." I mean, it was like if you combine like Jim Valvano, Tony Robbins, like your 10 motivational speakers and put them together, and that's what we got in our 2 nurses.
Oh my God.
Nurses they're like angels when in that process.
Yeah.
For the guys too, because you're like not sure what to do throughout the whole process. Like, do this, come here, calm down, do that. And you're like, okay, good.
What's crazy
Glad
about
you're
that
here.
is that like what worked 5 minutes ago, you do that again. She's like, "Don't do that."
Yeah,
I'm like,
that
okay,
hurts
no,
now.
would never do it.
Oh God.
No, I'm not
My
doing
bad.
it.
I can't even imagine.
The best is when the nurse, because I had just broken my hand in wherever I was, Rome.
Or Vienna?
Vienna, yeah. And then the nurse was like, all right, push on her hips right here. And she's like holding around me and pushing on my hands. She's like showing me. I was like, ah! Like, I can't complain right now. Ow, nurse, that hurts. And Kevin's going to be like, oh, that hurts? Like, but I don't, you shouldn't be pushing on my hand. Like, that was
it's funny.
interesting
But yeah, I mean,
situation.
Dee, like, because she didn't get the epidural, like, she's walking around the block today. Just like holding the kid, walking around, trying to get him some sunlight so he's on a normal human schedule.
Dude, I mean, this is first day, and it's literally the best day of the year.
Yeah.
First day home, It's literally the best day of the year so far.
Yeah, that's what...
It's a good sign.
Everyone's like, oh, because I think dads... It seems kind of split on dads. It's like, did your world just change when the kid came out? It's like, no, like not really. Like I was more concerned of like, is Delaney gonna die? Like, is the kid alive?
Yeah, right.
And I was telling Gab before, like now I feel more supercharged as like a husband because I can't really do a whole lot for the kid.
Yeah,
like he tries to feed on my nipples, but I got nothing for him.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I can't feed him, can't really soothe him. So I was like, all right, D, whatever you need, just let me know. I was like, all right, cooking done, dishes done, laundry like
right. Yeah, it's an interesting phase where you're like not feeling that useful in such an important time.
Right.
Like, what else can I do?
Yeah.
Or like I was telling you, the first week where you just wake up every night with her to like breastfeed you're just like, and then eventually you realize you're like, I don't need to be awake, do I?
Right.
But like, you still want to wake up
More
just
support.
just to let her know that like you're willing to. Like, if there's something I could do, I'd do it. I might as well sleep, right?
Right. Yeah, like last night.
If one of us can sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
He knocked out like yesterday the entire afternoon, so we knew we were kind of in it for yesterday night.
Yeah.
And but he would wake up and I'd be like, what you need, D? She's like, nothing, just go back to sleep. But then I was like, well, it's going to take me half an hour to go back to sleep anyway. Yeah. So I just kind of hung out, did nothing, fell back to sleep.
It's part of the experience.
Yeah.
Is just being up in the middle of the night those first few nights.
Yeah. It's weird. The second day, it was like so discouraging because he'd be crying. Delaney would just be peeing for like a minute. And I'd be like, I want to help.
Yeah.
I promise I want to help, but I can't.
There's only one thing you want.
Right.
Same thing every other dude wants and can't have.
Yeah, so the boy knows what he wants.
Yeah.
Yep, latches like a champ.
There you go.
Yeah, so he's good. D is like cloud 9. Hasn't slept in like 3 days, but doesn't care.
Yeah, she's built different, I think.
Yeah.
She's built different.
Does
this change her mind on like wanting to be... Because I know we talked about a little bit of this. You threw out there one time like, she loves being pregnant so much, maybe she'll just be a surrogate. Yeah. Does this whole like labor thing change that opinion a little bit?
So the 39 and a half weeks of leading up to the delivery, she like wouldn't change a thing. Yeah. But right after she delivered, she's like, I don't need to do that for a couple years.
No. Yeah.
But yeah, she loved being pregnant. And I mean, watching her be a mom, it's like watching Tiger at the 97 Masters. I'm like,
oh my gosh.
You're built for
this.
This is it. This is it. You found it.
Yeah.
It's really fun to see.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Such natural.
Heck
so
yeah.
Cute. So happy for
dude.
you.
Thanks.
Everyone's healthy. Everyone's good. And couldn't ask for anything more.
Yeah. And then the support, like the whole community, it's been awesome. Because it was hilarious. Avery, when we were in New Orleans, he was
because he is. How old is his new one? Couple months. Yeah, little Jane. Yeah. But it was hilarious because every time I'd show up to the players' stand of the courts, everyone's be like, Delaney, they're like, still pregnant. And Avery was like, dude, I'm just gonna start answering that for you.
Yeah, that's true.
But like everyone genuinely cared about it so much and was so supportive. And then I made it back, and everyone was like, if you didn't make it back, we were gonna kill Delaney for you, or we were gonna kill you for Delaney.
Yeah, exactly.
Kill you for.
Yeah. Made it back. Perfect timing.
So what's next for Ever? I think Huntington's the next one. What's your plan now that you're dad?
I mean,
just play by ear. Which
events? I've talked to Tri a lot about it. I think Cape Town was pretty much my farewell to the World Tour. I kind of knew it because when I played Cape Town, I think me and Dee and a handful of people were the only ones who knew that Delaney was pregnant. Yeah. I was like, I think this is a good send off.
Yeah.
It is.
It's time for me to stop. Losing
my first and your last
time. Yeah.
I still think you'll find your way out there on the World Tour at some point. But
last one for a while. Yeah. I think, and maybe I'll play like a futures for fun if it's close.
Yeah. Or if
we have an Orseca, or if a sponsor wants to cover it. But yeah, probably just mostly domestic. Yeah. And I mean, we have enough AVPs where my appetite's sated for volleyball.
Totally. I'm actually headed to Brazil tomorrow for Uberlandia. Yeah. So one more, and then we get to be home for a few weeks. Play Huntington, which is one of my favorite AVPs.
Yeah.
I haven't played it in a long time.
Well, it hasn't been a real event for a while.
Yeah, that's why.
Is it back? Is it at the pier? Because I know last year
I think so.
It was at like the new.
Oh no, we can't be having that. It's got to be by the pier.
I think it's at the pier.
Okay, good. Okay. Yeah, me and Hayden had great runs at Huntington. We were like, I think we made 3 finals there.
Oh, that's awesome.
The first time I ever watched you live was when you beat Johnny Mayer and I think Doherty in the finals. I had just moved to California like that weekend.
Dude, you know what's funny? We played with a guy this morning at Jose's group, and he's obviously a younger up-and-comer. And he's like, dude, first time I ever saw you play was in Milwaukee, and I was 14 years old, and you won the event. I was like, oh, that was my first win. He's like, yeah, I was 14. And I was like, wow, I'm an old guy here.
Yeah.
Oh, which guy was it? I'm blanking on his name right now. But there's a cool little younger group of guys that are in Jose's group now. And they're talented, too. So it's good to see. But, yeah, I was just like, wow. I'm that guy.
Yeah, you're the guy.
I'm that guy.
You've been the up-and-comer for so long, and now you're the vet that people watched growing up.
Yeah, but that happens so quickly when these old guys, these guys, Phil and Nick, these guys in their 40s who are playing a lot longer than people in the past, they retire, and then, boom, you just age like 10 years. It seems like it.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Good times.
Yeah. How does it feel your first win with Chaim? Yeah.
Yeah, first win with Chaim. Yeah. Feels good. Feels like trying not to take it for granted. But like, you know, still stepping stone of like trying to get better and play our best game, and it wasn't our cleanest by any means. Like Sunday was defensively kind of a mess in a lot of ways, but yeah, just excited about getting better. But I don't want to be that guy either that's like taking for granted winning an AVP. Like that's a huge deal. I think I have like 8 or 9 now. I don't really know.
All I know is 6 since we started the podcast.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow. So that's most important.
Yeah.
So 3, I had 3 with Hayden, I think. So,
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like a balance of, you know, not taking it for granted, but also like...
Well, it's exciting to see where you guys are at, but you have a lot of work to do still.
Yeah, and it kind of shows our potential, right?
Yeah.
Going into that...
So it's fun.
Was it was there a lot... Because I feel like it would have been win or disappointment.
Yeah.
Given the field.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a lot of pressure.
It is. It's a different pressure, for sure. I just feel like I'm so used to pressure at this point, like different types of pressures. And it's like, okay, what's the pressure this week?
Right.
Like, you know, mentally. But that was definitely it. It was, you know, you know that all these guys are sitting in Brazil and just probably hoping we get upset, but also like balancing, like, do we want a new person to win an event, or are we okay them just getting another one?
Yeah.
Which is stupid to, you know, that's that mental game when we were in season where we're all worrying about what each other thinks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's the cool part about it. And it was a challenge for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're losing, or you lost the first set, both matches Sunday.
Yeah.
Tim and Kyle are playing extremely well.
Playing awesome.
And you're like, got to find a way.
Yeah.
What was cool is that I feel like we went to another gear. Like, we didn't play better. We didn't figure out how to play better ball and, like, figure out how to beat them. It's just like, let's just go to the next level.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to achieve our goals, like, on the world tour and, like, what we're actually trying to achieve, which is big goals. We need to have another gear to go to, and I feel like we went there without actually playing way better volleyball. We just made it happen.
Yeah.
I feel like you found that. Like, maybe it was Manhattan when you guys were down 16-12, and you were just like, I've seen you enter this I'm not losing mode enough times now where it's not like, it's enough of a pattern where it is a thing.
Yes.
Because you did the same thing against Poland.
Yeah.
You did the same thing against Kyle and Tim. You did the same thing against Troy and Billy. It's like, you know, when Tri's into 10-10 third setter, I wish there were live betting, because I'd start to put a fair amount of money and try to find a way.
Yeah.
Don't jinx me. Yeah, no, I think I found it around that time. Like, well, I've just been going at it with the Phils and Jakes and Rosies and those guys for so long. My first half of my career, I was just like, God, these mother effer, I can't get these guys. And I did get them here and there, but it wasn't ever like, it was like Phil knew that he was the top dog the whole time and all that. So there's kind of a passing of the guard, and it's like, well, someone's got to be that guy now.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be easy. Someone's got to do it, and someone's got to put in more, go to a different level to get that.
Yeah.
So when I kind of found that or felt it at times, I was like, all right, I need to figure out how to replicate that. And it's like a different willingness to like go there.
Yeah.
You know, because you kind of got to not be yourself for a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
White mama.
But I also think that's what fans like, right? Like that's the beauty of professional sport. They want to see you out there in the arena like gladiators. Obviously, we're fluffing a volleyball around nowadays, but just going to a different place and competing at like some deeper level. Yeah. So yeah, trying to replicate that and then see if I can bring it to the world tour.
Brought it in wherever you, La Paz.
Yeah, but
no,
I want medals, bro.
Getting there.
Uberlandia. Who's going to Uberlandia for the men? Not many,
us.
right? Just you guys.
I think just us.
Taylor and Taylor are in.
I don't know. I'm confused.
Yeah, Trevor
They got off the reserve list, I think.
Miles and Andy
the
dropped
listeners
out.
of this episode
A couple people asked
I'm
why
going to push this episode to go Wednesday before Uberlandia.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because a couple people asked why did Miles and Andy pull out of Uberlandia?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We looked at that 4-week stint and it was like early in the year. 4 weeks is a long time
Gone
away
for a
from
month,
home. Obviously, me and Kim have kids. I can break that trip up, go to the first one, come back, take my family to New Orleans, be with them, spend basically 2 weeks with my family, and then go back to Brazil and be recharged and break it up in that way. Or I can stay away for a month. It's like kind of easy. We know that there's plenty of tournaments to be played, so we'll let the guys have that event by themselves, and they can stay for 4 weeks if they want. But in hindsight, no one got to the 4 weeks. They all left early at some point, even though they were all planning on staying there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Makes me feel pretty good about my decision at this point.
Yeah, I think the answer for most teams why they dropped out. I mean, this late in the process,
they're point crunching,
points,
right?
Yeah, because I want to say that Miles and Andy are still hanging on to their win in Dubai, and
yes, probably.
I think they're trying to hang on to that because I think after Ostrava or Yermala, everyone's finishes from Torquay are going to be out, and the points is going to be a huge recession in points because they're pretty inflated. Like you saw a lot of teams at the Elite 16 level perform really well who typically wouldn't because the fields were lighter. And I think that Trev and Theo and Miles and Andy are probably noticed that and maybe
Didn't
waiting
they know
it
that
out.
before, or were they just going to wait and see?
It might have just waited and see.
Yeah.
And it might just be that they're a month in Brazil, especially for Miles when he hasn't traveled before. It's a long freaking time.
It's a long time.
So I don't know why, but I think if the Taylors drop out, that'd be weird to me because they can't get in an Elite 16 anyway.
Yeah,
so they kind of need this one.
But they're already home. They came all the way back already, right? So they have to fly. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I'd say as a volleyball fan, it's not that big of a deal. Like, it's a lot. We're still in the first, just getting off the starting line.
Yeah.
So it's just the preferences, and I mean, for all we know, like someone's ankle could be bummed or someone's shoulder could be, and they're just making decisions based on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ed Keller wrote, why do USA athletes skip events in an Olympic qualifying year with only 7 more before World Champs? I assume that's 7 more.
That's a good point.
7 more Elite 16s or 7 more... I think
it was.
Is that
I think it was 6
as
and 6 before World Champs. I thought it was 6 challenge, 6 elites.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know, but Ed's usually right about these things.
Yeah.
And
him or Trav, who do you have your money on?
Ed, if you have any advice, if you think I'm doing something wrong, just call me. Because you usually know these things better than me. I brought on Kamer this year to be a points crunching guy, so I don't have to think about any of this crap. So I'm just assuming I'm all right.
Yeah. Well, and they just added events. They added challenges in the Philippines, India,
I just saw that.
China.
Yeah.
That's all in the fall, and the events in the fall typically are pretty watered down and teams are taking off. So I think.
But now is everyone thinking that?
Right.
And
some of them I think will conflict with World Champs, and so you're going to have like a challenge that's going to be empty.
Right.
That conflicts with Mexico because World Champs is like a 10-day thing.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So I mean, if one of that.
Whoever's not in World Champs.
Yeah. And if it doesn't directly conflict, if it bookends World Champs, you're still going to be missing half the field anyway.
Right.
Because people aren't going to want to go from Mexico to India or vice versa. And so I think you're going to see some of these fall events. Like you could see teams try to like re-peak in October.
Yes. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So skipping in April is really, it's a pretty forgivable offense.
Yeah. But it is early.
So
like this
time.
was a 1 month push to start the season.
Yeah.
And then we have a month off. We have Huntington for Americans, but I don't know. It was the first chapter of the season, I feel like, is concluding with Uberlandia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So exciting stuff. It's nice to have a little break, huh? After.
No, it's
you.
nice. It's super nice to know that it's not like, wow, we're in it. We're in this like 8-9 week like straight push. It's like we make a push, and it's good for my body too, because I feel like my body adapts to like the impact of season.
Yeah.
And it's just been like, oh, now this and now that, and like the impact's just like shifting around my body. So it's nice to like beat it up, get it used to that, and then have a month to like recover and then get back into it.
Well, and then learn too. Like at least you guys are a new pair, and for me and Toni as well. Like you go over. So I was talking to Corinne Quiggle about this today. Like you go overseas. You learn, you learn a lot, and then you have time to come back and regroup a little bit. You're not like on the road for such a long time. It's kind of nice to go and learn a little bit, and then see. Because we went and had a second, we were like, we're so good, and then we lost in the round of 18. We were like, fuck, we're not that good. Like, okay, learning a little bit.
Don't get on the roller coaster.
No, you can't. You can't.
Yeah.
So it's fun. We're talking to Sports Psych a bit about like, and I don't know if you guys can touch on this a little bit, but like. Is there a way to go into every tournament as best you can with no expectation? Like, because we went into La Paz with like, we had no idea what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And then you come into Brazil and it's a bit like, okay, we belong here. I know we're still in the qualifier, but like we've proven that we can compete against some good teams.
Yeah.
But how do you come in with no expectations, I guess? Hard to do that, obviously. But.
Do you work with Peter Haberl?
I was.
Okay.
I was, yeah.
Well, I'm just picturing what Peter would say, and he'd say, you can't.
You can't.
He's like, you can't not have expectation, right?
Yep.
But you can be aware of the expectation. You can choose how you act on it, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like the stereotypical sports psych answer.
Yeah.
But
true.
I find that it's more helpful to embrace it instead of trying to like run from it or be like, no, I don't want to win. It's like, but do you? You're like, yeah, I really. I mean, I don't want to lie. I really want to win this super bad.
Yeah.
So it's better to just be like, yeah, I mean, now this is the expectation that's present. How are we going to attack this one specifically? And it keeps changing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, your guys' stuff has changed so much from playing in a World Tour final or a final on the World Tour. And then now you're back in another one.
Yeah.
And it's like, you didn't earn a good finish in the next event. Mm-hmm. You just got that one, and now the next event's the same as it was going to be before.
Yep.
So it's kind of trippy.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I'm reading this book that Zana recommended, actually, called The Confident Mind. It's by Nate Zinzer, and he works with West Point, so the Army, and their cadets, but also their athletes. Most useful book I've read probably the last couple of years. I think you would really like it. Yeah. And I think Sav, since you're starting to explore this realm,
for some books because I don't want to be on my phone as much as.
Yeah, I think you would. You would both really enjoy it. I think it should be mandatory reading for high school and college athletes who are still feeling out sort of who they are as athletes. But what I just read was his chapter on kind of the shooter's mentality and how you have to be. It's sort of this delusional confidence where if you miss a shot and say you hit 95% of your line shots inbounds and 90% of those line shots you hit inbounds go for kills and you miss a line shot, that actually the shooter's mentality that increases statistically, it increases your odds of hitting the next one. And so you say, oh, well, if I miss that one, then I'm definitely going to hit this one. Whereas if you hit that line shot, you do like the reverse of that. You're like, oh, I just hit it. Now I'm on fire. Like now I'm going to hit it again.
Yes, right.
And so you just sort of twist your view of, and that's like Steph Curry or Michael Jordan. Right? Yeah. So if Steph misses 10 in a row, he's like, well, I have to make the 11.
I have to make the next one.
There's no way I miss 11 in a row. Where if he hits 10 in a row, he's
I just calibrated 10 times. Like this is the best case
exactly.
scenario.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's like, but if I hit 10 in a row, like you don't leave the table on a heater. This one's going into
it. You know who's just born with that mindset? Trevor.
Yes. It's so valuable.
Delusional confidence.
Yeah. Dude, it's so funny because I was playing with Avery was really fun because we've been pretty good friends for a while. And I was talking to him about it. And I was like, Avery, what do you think the difference is between you and a Trevor? Because I think if we were to like build a beach volleyball character in a video game, it's like you're stronger, you hit harder, you serve better, you set just as well. Like you're passing. Trevor's maybe a little bit better of a passer, but you're still like an A passer.
Yeah.
Like where's the difference, do you think? And he was talking about how it's just like this mental thing where he hasn't broken through.
Some crazy confidence.
Yeah. And I was like, if you were able to channel, like if you were just like pick a little evil Trevor Crab and just put it in there, like you'd be unbelievable.
Sure.
Because like Trev had never played defense, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll make an Olympic run as a split blocker. It's easy."
He's like,
it's easy.
Taylor can do it. How hard could it be? Like,
Right.
he's one of the best defenders in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fine. He sucks.
I just think you look at the talent gap physically between team. Let's put Anders and Christian in their own category because I think Anders is just a physical freak.
Right.
But if you say you put team 3 with team 30, the physical gap is really maybe 1% between them.
If that.
On the world tour.
Yeah, if that. There's
it's
some
just
nuts guys.
It's all upstairs. Like it's
100%.
It's all in here. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy. And now that I've been reading that book and watching games and matches, like it's fun to watch it actually play out.
That gear I was talking about.
Yeah.
That's where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to go get it up there.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the game is played. Like once it's like LeBron, right? I think it was his quote or someone. He was just saying, like, until our legs are burning and until the score is tight and we're in the end of the game, now it starts.
Yeah.
Now it's 0-0.
Right.
Like we were just getting to this moment.
Yeah.
Whereas other person's like, oh my god, it's almost the end. You know?
Yeah.
Like, no, we're starting. Or like Schwarzenegger's like, I only start counting it once
it starts to hurt.
It's
so good.
So good. It's funny you bring up LeBron because I've been because of my anxiety stuff, I've been using like the Calm app, and I was scrolling through it just to find I want to get something that's like obviously you can do something every day, but something that's like a series, like once a day, to like practice some mindfulness stuff. And I went on here and I saw a LeBron, it's called Train Your Mind, and he has a whole series about like mindfulness through sports. So
he's on Calm too. LeBron did a series on Calm.
No, this is on Calm.
Okay, yeah,
this is the one. I'll
Okay.
report back to you guys. I'm going to take a listen and kind of see. But
I do
it's funny you brought it up.
Headspace.
I have both.
Headspace.
I was kind of going back. I did Headspace in
interesting,
college,
yeah.
and so I'm trying to learn more about Calm. Calm has such good reviews. Headspace does too.
No,
and I've
I'd
used
like to
Headspace
try
for a
that
long
one.
time, but it was funny. I literally was looking at this last night, and I was like,
Headspace is not always the best option for me.
yeah.
But
I like this app called Oak, and I just do for every match I do 10 minutes of box breathing.
Yeah.
You just breathe in for 4, hold for 4,
Yep.
out for 4, hold for 4, and you get on the court, and there's just nothing in the world that could bother you, just like full zen.
Have you
It's
done
awesome.
Wim Hof breathing?
Yeah.
Stein was like huge into that. My 5th year, we would come in and just do all the Wim Hof stuff,
Yeah.
and it was the craziest thing to see. Like I could never hold my breath ever, and then you do it's like fast, like in, out, and it's like the guy's talking you through it, and then you hold your breath,
Yeah.
and then you do it
It's
again.
like fire breathing.
Yeah, it's
There's
so
all
interesting.
kinds.
It's so interesting. I don't know. Maybe I should get back into that a little bit.
Tim Brewster's big into that. He does. I used to, when we played together, I called him Wim Hof.
Yeah.
Because he would like get into this like frenzy with his breathing thing.
Yeah.
I was like, go get it, son.
You could hold your breath for like way longer than I was holding my breath for like almost 2 minutes. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And that was with like no other practice besides the Wim Hof stuff.
Yeah.
But we've done the box breathing and then breathe in for 5 seconds, hold for 7, breathe out for 8, something like that.
Well, people don't realize that you have to warm your lungs up too. They're like, hold your breath. You're like, and your lungs, like, they expand. Like, you can get them to stretch out if you just do a few breath holds first, or like box breathing or different, fire breath, whatever you're going to call it. So, like, when people go for their longest breath holds, which is extremely dangerous and normal people shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
They like warm up and they do like their first breath holds like half of what their max is.
Yeah.
I think most people don't realize that. And also it makes you think, well, if I'm trying to like maximize my VO2, whatever max and oxygen intake in matches, like why am I not warming my lungs up like making sure that I get my lungs to full capacity before a match. Like it's ridiculous.
We should all be doing breathing before the game. Yeah.
Do you think your background as kind of a waterman, where you're very conscious of your breath, that's helped you with that?
Good question.
Yes. I mean, I'm fascinated by it because I've grew up around like divers and like people who can do that, surfers who can do stuff like that. But I think it's more me being fascinated with like high performance and then reading up on it and being like, that's a thing. Yeah. And then I did that Brian McKenzie work and like all meditation stuff. So combination for sure. But when I go back home, I'm like definitely, my buddies are like lifeguards and stuff. They're like teaching me new things and like going down way deeper than I will go and staying down there way longer. Yeah. And I'm just like fascinated by it.
Yeah. Because as a swimmer, I would just like, and a runner when I was younger, I would just always feel so freaking good after, because all you're thinking about is breathing the whole time. Yeah. Especially a swimmer, because you can't wear headphones. I'm sure now you can.
Well, it's the runner's high, right?
Yeah. You just like get these endorphins, but now all of my pre-whatever routines in volleyball are just centered around breath. Like my jump serve routine, I just like pat the ball to myself 3 times as I'm inhaling. Yep. And then I'm exhaling, like I spin it in my hand and then I go. And then before serve receive, once they start their toss, I inhale. Yep. And then as they hit it, I'm exhaling. It's so good.
Dude, it's crazy. I can like be like fully gassed, like, okay, we're in it. Like they're burning, they're huffing and puffing, I'm puffing and puffing. I'm like, damn, I don't have my breath quite yet. My legs are burning. And then just like, they're about to throw the ball up to serve it, and I just go, and then boom, my legs are back.
Yeah,
like it's just that quick. And it's got to be like mental too, you know.
Yeah,
it's a combination of like getting that oxygen, but also just like you're telling your body you're okay.
Yeah,
like when you're breathing, you're okay.
Yeah,
maybe like when you're breathing fast.
I need me some of that. Oh my god.
Yeah,
I was playing against Sarah and Therese, the first match of New Orleans. So the whole day, I'll touch briefly on my anxiety thing. If you guys haven't seen it, I posted about it, whatever. But the whole, like, I woke up that morning, got like a breakfast sandwich, went and did a little serving pass because we didn't play till 3:30 or something. And I was so out of breath, like doing just like setting triangle. I was like, what is wrong with me?
Yeah.
Like, why? My heart shouldn't be beating this hard. I shouldn't be this out of breath. Maybe it's because I just ate too close, whatever. I always find ways to come up with something that's wrong with me. I don't know. Maybe it's just, I don't want to, anxiety is such a non-tangible thing.
It's just the mind. You can't control it.
Yeah,
right?
So then I'm warming up for my game with Sarah and Therese, and I'm like, I can't even warm up because I was so fatigued. Like I was breathing so hard and I was so fatigued. I was just like, what is going on? And then probably the whole first set of that match, I literally didn't feel like I could catch my breath. And normally when you're playing, you don't even think about your breathing because you should be breathing hard if you're going hard. But the whole time I was just like thinking I can't breathe. I feel like I'm gonna die. My heart's exploding. But the funny thing is, like, as much as I hated worrying about my breathing, I wasn't thinking about the volleyball game. So I was digging a ton of balls because I was actually probably more calm, like defensively, because I could literally only think about like the fact that I like literally trying to not die on the court because I just could not recover.
Probably, right? Just
it's one point, and that's what I talked to Peter about, the sports psych. Like I talked to him about my panic attacks, and he's like, I told him I was having a panic attack at practice, which the reason I'm so upset about all this anxiety stuff is because it's coming onto the court now, which usually volleyball is like my escape. And now it's like coming into volleyball a little bit. And he's like, so what happened when you had your panic attack? I'm like, I don't know. I just kept thinking about volleyball. He's like, that's what you got to do in like normal life. Like if you're having a panic attack, you got to think like one breath at a time, one thing at a time. You can't get too overwhelmed. But I want to work on more of that breathing stuff before playing, because I felt, and maybe, everyone's like, you're just nervous for the tournament, first AVP, whatever. I'm like, I wasn't even thinking about, I don't care playing. I'm going to play against Sarah and Therese my entire career. Like, I'm not, obviously I'm a little nervous. I want to perform maybe because we were in New Orleans and I felt that, like, not my hometown, but like kind of like pressure. But like, I wasn't, maybe it was subconscious, but I was like, I don't think it's that. Like, so I don't know, but it's interesting. This whole breathing thing is eye-opening for me. So I'd love to talk to you guys more about that because I think that would help.
Oh, for sure.
I think part of it, when you do, at least for me, I'll try to do box breathing every morning after I wake up. And I think it just primes your mind to start, you're more conscious about your breath for the rest of the day. Like I'll go on a walk after that, and then the whole time I'm just like breathing in for 4 steps and breathing out for 4 steps. And when you do it before a match, you just like it's easier to come back to it. Like you make an error or 2 in a row, and you stop freaking out about the error or 2, and you just like come back to your breath, and then it's 0-0 again.
Yeah.
Well, once you trust that that's the best place to be, is like, because it's hard to you have a thought in your head, you're like, you want to address it, but once you figure out that you're like, the best place to be is not addressing whatever pops into my head, it's letting it go in this moment, it becomes easier. Like, oh yeah, it's like, it feels good to let these things go. But before you train yourself to do it, it's like you want to address these issues, or you get swept away by it, kind of thing. Whereas I'm just like, people are like, what's going on in your head? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just clearing anything that comes in. Like, you don't know the score.
Just
you don't know anything that's happening.
Well, it's funny because you bring up the not knowing the score thing. Yeah.
I'm like, who cares?
Yeah.
I think not helpful for me right now.
Yeah.
I want to score either way.
Yeah. I think that's a sign of being in like a mini flow state when you have no idea what's going on. You're just playing.
I'm always playing better if I don't know the score.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I make it a point not to look because I'm like, well, I'm not getting out of here. I literally had a set this year. This is hilarious. Where the score just kept going. I was like, when is this set over? And then I realized that the last time out was in between sets.
Oh my God.
How was that? I was like, oh, that's a great feeling.
That's great.
We already won the first.
What a surprise.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's so good.
It's literally to that extent, you guys. I didn't know. I thought it was a timeout.
I love
what a relief. You're like, wow, I won the first set. I didn't even know.
That's amazing. Gosh, I was getting a lot of pressure. I was like, I feel like...
Are we in overtime right now?
Yeah, we must be in overtime or something, but I'm not going to look.
That's
it's like awesome. 5-2. How is it 5-2? Oh, we're in the second set.
We don't got to do more of that. That's
good start.
That's good stuff. Holy moly.
That's amazing.
I love that. Where was that?
It must have been, it was Itapema for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You take the definition of, I blacked out what happened to a new level.
Yeah.
Oh, I blacked out.
It's a real thing.
Okay, but we won it, Tri.
Match is over, bro. Oh, nice. Who won?
That's so good.
Yeah, but Sav, I got to give you credit, though, for coming out and like being willing to share all that publicly. Yeah. I think it seems like a simple thing to do, like just share what you're thinking, but not many people are willing to do that.
Yeah.
And obviously you've probably already seen that like has a huge impact on a lot of people. And I think like even, I don't know, when I heard about it, I was like, okay, she's going through these issues, but it wasn't like, oh, I feel so bad. Mm-hmm. I feel like, it's terrible and we got to feel sorry. It's like, okay, Savvy's going through it, but this is usually where people gain something. Mm-hmm. Like you go through these things to come out on the other side, like figure it out and come out with these other skills, and you're already just embracing it and like, I'm going to help people. Instead of thinking about yourself only in this situation, you're like, well, I'm going to share and see what I can do to help other people. And a lot of times the challenges are like, those are the golden pieces when you look back. You're like, I'm glad I went through that because now I'm this person on the other end of it, which is probably hard to see when you're going through it. And
absolutely.
Like I've experienced when I was sick, like I just had no purpose with my days. Like I don't know what to do. Like I've just been an athlete. I've known what to do every day and I didn't then. And then my heart rate was just like, I felt is when I learned anxiety. Yeah. I was like, I feel like I'm in line at the grocery store and the people are taking forever and I got to go. You know that feeling where you're just like, God, hurry up.
Come on.
Like that feeling in my heart where it's just like, I'm a little pissed off.
It's a good example.
All day.
It's a really good example.
I can't not be, I'm like, anxious. I'm like, I guess this is anxiety.
Yeah.
I have anxiety. Oh, wow. Okay. Like, that's when I kind of was open to it. Like, I guess I experienced this kind of stuff too. And, but like all of that in the long run, I feel like has helped me and made me just realize more and open my mind to all kinds of stuff. And obviously just the challenge in general, like that's how you grow. That's the best place to grow. So kudos to you to just opening up to other people and like helping, Yeah,
that's kind of like I told you guys a little earlier, that was kind of the whole point. It's a fine line with the mental health stuff because you don't want to I've always wanted to be an advocate for like mental health stuff because I've gone through it. Like, people probably don't know this. Like when my parents would go out to dinner when I was little, like 5 or 6 years old, they would leave the house to go to date night. And I would have the home phone, and I knew my mom's number, I knew my dad's number, and if one of them didn't answer, I'd call them. And it was literally like they'd leave the house 10 minutes later, I'd call them, hey, did you guys make it to the restaurant? They went to the same restaurant, like 5 minutes away. And I'd call them, like, did you guys make it? They're like, yeah, we did it. And I'd call them probably 20 minutes later, okay, did you order? Did you get your food? They're like, no, we ordered. No. And they were so good about it. Like, and they'd usually, sometimes go with friends, whatever. It'd probably be 10 times I called them, and I'm sitting, and I just remember the seat. My parents still have it. It's like this big, it's not a couch, but it's a big, like, kind of love seat, like, kind of by the front door. And I would sit, I'd stand on it, and I'd look. And we were on a very quiet street growing up, and I'd look. And anytime a car, when they said that they were leaving, and it was dark out, I would sit there and wait, and I'd see lights go by, and I'd be like, oh, they're home. Oh my God, thank God they're home. And then the car would drive past. It's kind of weird. Like, I don't know if it was like, it's not like my parents ever were like, not going to come home. But I don't know if I was just scared they were going to get in a car accident or they were going to, who knows? But it's been since I was really little, I had these weird, like, little anxious things. And so I've gone through it kind of a lot, but I've always been kind of an advocate for it. But it's a fine line on social media. I don't want to be posting all the time, like, here's my sob story. I don't want any pity. I don't want pity. I don't want people to feel bad for me. That's not why I do it, But I've been kind of inactive. I posted a bit about it in college and whatnot, and haven't posted much about it since. I think because of maybe I go through waves where sometimes it's bad, and when it's good, when I don't feel anxious, I don't talk about it at all because I don't want to manifest like bad. I'm going to be anxious. So I haven't talked about it in a bit because I've been... it's where I asked Evan, I'm like, have I been having these how long have I been having these panic attacks? You've been with me for over a year and a half. Like, he's like, the first, like, 9 months of our relationship, you were not one time did you ever bring it up. So it's been within the last 6 or so months-ish, a little more than that I've been noticing it. But yeah, that's, the whole point was, I don't journal much. And when I was kind of writing it down and just getting my thoughts out, and I'm like, oh, fuck it, I'm going to post. Why not? And just see if it helps anyone, and just the outreach, the people just, I went through my comments and cried because I was like, the amount of people that, I had a lot of texts and comments saying, I'm so sorry, I feel so bad, let me know if I call me if you need. I'm like, I'm not going to call you. Like, maybe, but probably not. But I appreciate it. Right. But again, I don't want you to feel bad, but more than that, I just had so many people, moms with kids, like, my daughter's going through this. It's so, adults, I'm going through this. It's so nice to know I'm not alone. And I think that's the scariest thing is, like, anxiety is such a weird term. I don't know. And everyone experiences it in different ways. Everyone's panic attacks are different, and anxiety mine's like a lot of health anxiety. Like, I think maybe a lot of mine is subconscious as well, worrying about, like, maybe mine's really bad right now because I'm playing the best volleyball I've ever played, and I'm cruising up, and so maybe but I'm not sitting during the day thinking about volleyball. So, I'm glad I did it. I was a bit skeptical, hesitant, because as an athlete, you don't want people to see you as, like, weak or you're struggling, and I'm going to compete. I just posted my struggles to the world. Like, Steinmetzger ingrained in our brain, like, so gnarly. You never tell anyone anything that's going on with you. Not that he's not, like, a proponent of, like, the mental health stuff, but more like physical injuries. Like, do not ever post on your Snapchat story that you rolled your ankle at practice, because he was all about, like, psychological warfare, and, like, you don't want any of the other teams to know that it just you're
shows
sick
you a
or
lot
you're
about
injured,
Stein, like,
whatever.
how he got wins. He'd do any little thing, right?
So I think because of that, and that was more for, like I said, physical injuries or lineup switches, anything. He was like, we're the band of sisters and we don't tell anyone anything. And so that's been ingrained in my brain for so long that posting something about my mental health, I was like, oh my God, I'm spilling all my secrets into the world, and everyone's going to use it against me. And, it's a bit different than college. And I am really, really glad I did it. So I appreciate that. And I'm always here if anyone needs. I'm no therapist, but, because I've had a lot of people reach out about, like, hey, are you taking any medication? I'm like, I've never taken medication for it. Not that, I'm not against it, but personally, like I want to do what I can to not be on it, just because I think the medication is kind of a Band-Aid for it.
Right.
Medication has helped hundreds of thousands of people with this, and more and more lately, I've been more like interested and open to the idea. I've had a lot of people say to get on a guided shroom trip. That's the big one lately. Start doing some shrooms. I'm like,
it's natural.
I've never thought about it. I'm like, maybe a shroom trip, but yeah. So I can't help with everyone because I don't have all the tools and the experience, but I can listen. I can relate to a lot of stuff. So I appreciate that.
I think just normalizing it for people is helpful. It's like, oh, okay, like it's less scary, right? Like,
Absolutely.
like if you didn't know that, like getting a giant cut on your leg, like that stitches existed and then they can sew it up and you'll be okay. Like you'd be freaking out. You're like, my leg's gonna be like open forever. No, like there's stitches and like this happens. It's like, oh, okay, well this still sucks.
We have a thing for that.
But it helps.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think that the trick for you was how genuine it was, where you do see a lot of people on social media sort of oversharing, playing the victim card because it gets a lot of likes and engagement because you've seen on your post, but because it wasn't a sob story where you were looking for that pity card. I think that's what really resonated with people because it was genuine, where you like half poked fun at yourself.
Well, I also didn't proofread that thing. I did not. If there's spelling errors
made it amazing.
I have no clue. That's just wrote it out and sent it out there.
Yeah, so. It was just real and raw, and it was just you.
Yeah.
And I think that's the trick. And I think that's also how you build, not that you're seeking to build an audience through sharing that, but that's also how you build a very real and genuine audience by sharing something that is actually, that's savvy.
Yeah.
That's who you are. Instead, you could have just been like, 5th place, top 10.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Which I did. I posted. I'm like, 5th place, wanted more, but still proud. Pretty generic post, which is the truth. It's funny, like, a lot of people have been. Gina Urango posted I don't know exactly, but she basically wrote took a 9th or 7th, whatever they took, and no shit, I'm pissed. And then she wrote out, it was cool because it was a freaking real post. It wasn't like a top 10 finish, proud, proud of us, not the finish we wanted, because that's, but that's
sometimes that's just the truth.
Sometimes it's just, of course we didn't want,
it's
but,
so true.
But it's so funny because I posted 5th place, proud of our team, and then a couple people were posting the whole let's normalize real captions and let's make it real. I'm like, oh my God, okay. People want a real post? I'm going to give you a freaking real post right now. You guys want some real? Delivered. Yeah. I don't sleep at night. I'm losing my mind. You want to know the truth? But it was just funny because everyone's posting all that stuff. So now, especially when Theo, he brings it up. And then Kristen posted, we got 5th, period.
I loved it.
So good because they took 5th. So now when I take a 5th, I'm like, fuck. I don't want to take a 5th anymore. It's dreaded 5th, but it's funny. So I'm all about the Instagram being real thing, but it's hard. We're all sponsors. Well, in the spot, people are looking at your page and you're trying to gain followers, but I ended up pinning that. I've never pinned any pictures to my profile. Yeah, and I pinned that one as my first one because I'm like, if anything's me and real, it's that one. So if people want to see the first thing, then go look at that, whatever. It's also a balance because I'm like, it'd be really good for my mental health to get off of social media probably, but I want to share with the world, so I might start doing scheduled posts. Have you guys done that before? You can schedule your posts and then get the frig off. I might look into that a little bit just because I catch myself.
Trey knows what I do. I just get on post, delete the app.
Stop.
Yeah,
then you delete the whole app and then re-download it if you need to post.
Put up. There are some tournaments are exceptions where I do want to update. We lost or we won this one. We play it this time, whatever. But for everyday life, I download it after I've done whatever creative work I need to do. Yeah. Respond to messages, respond to whatever comments, put up whatever I would need or want to put up, and then I just immediately delete it, and then I do it again the next day.
That's great.
That's what Gabby does.
Yeah. I just don't have the self-control. If it's there, I know. It's if I know I have chocolate in the cupboard. Like, I'm gonna go eat the chocolate.
I'm too stubborn. Like, I'm like, no, the app can't beat me.
Yeah.
And then I get caught. And I'm like, literally out loud. Ah, damn it.
Well, it's like you can set that thing where it kicks you off after a certain time or after a certain
you
whatever.
Just bypass
you can literally just click like buy
more time,
whatever.
Exactly.
Oh my god. Yeah, we're still learning. There's a lot to learn with this whole thing. I think that's the cool thing. Like I want to start getting into more reading. I hate reading. I've never been a reader ever.
Yeah.
Like literally never, because I also have pretty bad like ADD. Like I can't sit and read a freaking book. But I can scroll on Instagram.
Right.
And watch Love Island all day.
Yeah.
Clearly it's not that bad. I just can't read.
I've definitely had a point in my life where reading is basically like torture.
Yeah.
But then I've figured it out, and reading is like one of the like greatest tools I feel like we're given.
Yeah.
Because it's like, books are cheap, right? Like, even if it's $20, $30, it's like, would you pay $30 to have someone's just like well thought out thoughts and like sharing all their knowledge? Like, I'd pay ridiculous amounts of money for that.
Yeah.
And there's just infinite of these books. People just spilling
Especially
their...
if you get like a Kindle or something. It's probably cheaper if you get a Kindle and you buy it on there or whatever. I don't know how that also works, but...
I mean, they end up being pretty cheap. And it's like, usually they're hand-me-downs, like, because you only read it once, so then people hand them out. I mean, Travis reads a book a week or something.
How many books do you
have? I recommend getting into it. Also for, like, sleeping. Yes. I do it literally just to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And especially if it's a boring book, it's even better.
Yeah.
I'm like reading one page over.
One paragraph.
I'm falling asleep. Like, perfect.
Yeah.
I didn't get anything from the book. It takes me like 2 months to read a book.
Yeah.
Maybe longer. But I definitely recommend it. There's so much gold out there. Like, anything you're thinking. I just have the bookshelf. Sometimes I order books, but I don't read them. Like that, what was that? Relentless?
Yeah.
I got it like a year ago, and you told me about it. You're like, it's pretty intense. Like, you just work harder.
Yeah.
I was like, it's not resonating with me right now. But then the beginning of this year, I just kind of read the front. I was like, that's kind of resonating.
Yeah.
Open it up, and it's just been like the perfect read.
Perfect.
You know,
the right book at the right time.
it's the timing of it.
That's a good point.
You don't have to force it. Like, I should be reading this right now. If you read the cover, you're just like, I'm interested, and then you just get into it. But it's just like, in terms of just growing as a person, it's so valuable to just free knowledge, basically. I mean, maybe you paid $10, $15.
This guy, Stephen Kotler, he wrote this book, The Art of the Impossible, and then a bunch of other books. But that's what Casepier recommended that to me, and he actually described this. He said, when you read a book, so it takes me 4 years to write this book.
Right.
In that 4 years, I'm reading hundreds of papers and interviewing hundreds of people.
Exactly.
That's taking me thousands of hours. If you read this book in a week you are getting thousands of my hours and also thousands of these other people's hours who wrote the papers that I read that put that information in the book. So it's just like the most compact way. And obviously the math doesn't work out just like that, but you are getting insight into hundreds of people's minds.
Yes.
And their most valuable takeaways.
Yeah.
My rule is that I never read new books. So I have to wait until like a year or two after the book's been out for it to be social proofed. And if I see a book that has like 40,000 reviews on Goodreads and it's like a 4.5 star, I'm like, all right. Or if I hear, James Nestor come on a podcast and talk about breath, I'm like, okay, this guy knows his stuff.
Right.
I'll read that.
Yeah. Or maybe that you've already read some of those people's books.
Yeah.
Right?
Once like anytime.
George Mumford just made a new one.
Yeah.
You know Mumford, he's what was his first one? The Mindful Athlete.
Yeah. He's good.
He was like one of the first mainstream sports psychs, like with Michael Jordan and stuff. He worked with Jordan and Kobe and Shaq and stuff. But he just wrote another book, and I ordered it new. But then you just said you don't order new books. I was like, damn it.
But
I just got a new one.
But you know.
But I know the guy.
So that's different.
And he's on Gervais' podcast.
Okay. So yeah, I mean that's social proofing right there.
Okay,
like I think if you come on, if Gervais has you on, with like Rogan or Huberman,
right?
I'm like, all right, that's enough. Like Peter Attia just wrote a book, and I like, all right, done. Ordering.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the new thing. Pre bedtime routine.
It's worth it.
Read a book. I know. I'm such a Netflix. Not even Netflix. Just I crush TV shows, which is fine.
Yeah.
And I go to bed pretty early. Like I go to bed at before 10. Like I'm in 9:30, whatever. But Evan and we wrote down, because my stuff's been so bad, like let's do a couple things, and it's breathing, like some sort of mindfulness. I'm gonna start taking a little more supplements, maybe magnesium before bed. Just a couple things, maybe I can sleep a little better.
Yeah.
And then we're off of phone and TV we have 8:30. Maybe we'll move it to 8. Try to eat a little bit earlier, stuff like that. So that's good.
My routine,
reading,
like for
reading
years, is stretch. I stretch for like, I mean, how good is that for an athlete, right?
Yeah.
You're just getting a stretch in before, but it relaxes your body. Like after you do a stretch, you just lay down and you're like, oh, I feel better.
Yeah.
And then, breath work's great. I don't really have a breath work routine before, and then I read.
Well, you can do the breath work with the mindfulness stuff. Like if you go on Calm, it's kind of all one thing.
You're breathing while you're stretching too, right?
Exactly.
And it's mindful because you're literally like thinking and feeling about each muscle. You're feeling each muscle. You're very present in like what you're trying to do. Like you're trying to find things within your body, which is the same thing as following your breath in a lot of ways. But also you're an athlete. Like you need to recover and stretch every day. Like that's very helpful.
Yeah.
And it relaxes you. So another tip.
Love that. Yeah. There's a couple questions on here about, since we're already on the topic.
Should we start the Q&A?
I know, I was going to say, I literally
we're an hour
asked
in.
one question.
Hey, good conversations.
Good catch up, guys.
Just got to go. We just got to let them go. We can cut this into 2 if you want. We're at an hour.
Oh my, how long do we normally go for these?
An hour.
Lately, after Jake Dietrich, 2 hours and 16 minutes.
Stop.
We can go however long we want.
Yeah.
He's the best.
He set the new standard.
He's the best. Oh my gosh, he's so funny.
All right, let's Q&A it.
Q&A a little bit. There's a couple questions on here about the mental aspect of the game, how important, ways to improve mental strength. When things start going downhill in a game, how do you reset? Stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of what we already tapped on, right?
Yeah.
It's just practice.
What do you, I guess I'll ask a more in-depth question. Like, what do you, talk about as much as you want, but what do you and Chaim, or you and your partner, talk about in a timeout? Like, depending on if you're down, you call a timeout. Yeah, I'll ask more of an in-depth question.
Most of the dialogue as of late, I've noticed, is just all mental. It's all, where are we at?
Yeah.
How's our energy? Where are we putting our focus? It hasn't been, and I want it to be more strategic, because I think Chaim is capable of thinking more strategic, but he's seeing the value in just like, wow, if our energy's right, like that's so much value in itself. And I'm like, well, but I need you to be the thinker. So you think and I'll do energy. Or, we're trying to find that balance, but we've both been feeling like the energy part of it is so important that's been pretty much all of it in timeouts. I think there should be a balance. If the energy's right, your guys' headspace is right. Like we're playing good volleyball. We just need to recognize patterns or stuff like that I've recognized I'm not that good at. Like I could hit 5 high lines over me, and I don't realize it. Like I should just call a 4 or start swatting the high line. But I'm just like in my zone of read, like hit or like whatever. So like having someone help me with those patterns would be helpful. Point being, I think it should be a balance, but you can't really execute on much if your head's not in the right space, right? And I think just being in the stereotypical, just as present as you can be, is the base of like where you want to get to at. Yeah. And it's tough because you're working with a teammate and there's someone's role might be more to like see where your teammate's at and check in with your teammate. There's times when it's like, I shouldn't be worrying about Chaim right now. Forget about Chaim. Just deal with yourself and get your head right and trust him to get his head right. But then there's also times like, hey, I see you going, you're slipping down here. I'm going to come help you, grab you back, and bring you back. Yeah. But it all takes practice. Like literally everything I'm doing right now, I feel like it's, I don't know, quote unquote high level, or it's just more and better. I'm building on everything I've done over years and years and years of work. So my recommendation would just be like, start from the base, like start learning and committing yourself to like mental awareness of where you're at, trying to figure out how to get yourself different tools to get yourself to be present, it's never going to feel perfect. Your mind's going to go wherever the hell it wants. It's just like realizing that is the game. Yeah. The game is just recognizing where the brain's going, not to control it, kind of thing.
Yeah. I think with me, because I've played with so many different people, I've learned to sort of match whatever they would need.
Yeah.
So what A-Rob needs is a lot different than what JM needs.
I feel like you're always checking, like you're very aware of other people, like socially. Like, so you're always checking in, like, where you at, what do you need?
Yeah.
My thought would be like, are you always in your best space too? Because that's sometimes I get pulled where I'm like, I'm not helping the team by thinking about where you're at right now.
Yeah.
I need to worry about where the best way I can help the team is thinking about where I'm at. Yeah. But I don't know. That's
like the best way to help you is to help me.
It's like to just be your best version of yourself. You can only
give so much. Yeah.
Like, and it really depends. So going into a timeout, if I'm the one struggling, I'll know. I have a pretty good sense of what I need, because I think the mental side of the game is probably my biggest strength. Yeah. Because like I got into the game late.
I think that's why you're good at the game. Like you don't get. I mean, you're physically good, but like you don't get good that quick without having some mental strength.
I think it's like, because I was late and physically, in terms of just natural volleyball player, very limited in that aspect. I needed to atone for that with the mental side.
Yeah.
So I think that is probably my biggest strength. And so if I'm struggling, like I know exactly, because I've struggled a lot in the last 8 years, I know exactly what I'll need to get out of it. Yeah. And so I'll say, listen, like this is what I'll need. And if they try to push back on that, I'm like, no, like this is what I need.
Yeah.
And if we do this, like we're going to be in good shape. Versus if, say, like my partner's struggling, like I just try to match whatever emotion they need at that moment. And that's what I think a lot of people, what they said was that I think you and Avery are going to be a really good team, because emotionally I think you're really good for Avery. We played great. Right. And I think like we vibed really well on the court.
Yep.
But like what A-Rob needed, like A-Rob, we would talk strategy. Like, listen, we can do this, that, and the other. Yeah. And he just really wanted like options, like got him fired up. But JM, like we'd talk about golf.
Right.
And movie quotes and whatever. Right. And then we get out. It wasn't that we weren't intense, but we were just like, and here's our break.
That's his zone, right?
Yeah. And we get on the court and like, now we're back.
Yeah.
And I played it with Jake McNeil, and he was just like freaking X's and O's, deep strategy guy.
Deep strategy guy.
And so it really depends on the context, like what we talk about in a timeout.
Yep.
But one thing I'll say is that commentating has made me so much more aware of strategy, because that's all as a commentator, that's all I'm thinking about. I'm like, you served this guy 8 times in a row, and he started switch it.
Yep.
Do something. And as soon as we got locked into serving Tim, and he sided out 4 times in a row, I was like, I don't care if Kyle Friend is playing with God.
Right.
Like you got to serve the other guy.
Yeah. Exactly. That's stuff that
that's a good point.
I agree. When I broadcasted, it was the same thing. I'm like, wow, I'm learning. Like this is valuable. But now, I notice myself getting into these patterns because I'm so wrapped up in like just be in your crazy place.
Yeah.
The crazy guy place. And I'm like, oh, there's certain things I could have noticed happening that would have helped me play better. So that's something I need to get better at. And I think Kim can help me with that a bit. Because me and Trevor are both kind of crazy like that. We're both in our crazy places the whole time. But we'll see. I don't know. I think we answered it.
Yeah. Yeah, but commentating's helped me take like this sort of third person view of when I'm on the court. I'm like, if I were commentating in this match, like what would I be getting on myself about?
That's a good point.
What am I seeing? And that helped a lot in New Orleans.
A lot of times I want to be like, you're critical of the commentators, right? Because you're like, well, easy for you to say from up there.
Right.
But if you like take that ego part out of it and just like, this person's just been watching a lot and there's actually a lot of gold you can take no matter who's commentating. It's just like they're just seeing simple things. And you're like, oh.
It's like an unbiased perspective.
Yeah, you can actually learn from commentators commentating a match. Like Dane Blanton's, like he's one of the best coaches in the country. And he's commentating my matches. It'd be foolish to not like, he's like, Try's kind of probably should do this right now. It'd be foolish to be like, Dane. Like, just commentators saying this.
Take your gold medal off and say that to my face.
Yeah, right, exactly. Exactly. Anyway.
This one lady asked, as a fan, if I can only choose one AVP in California, which one should she go to?
In California? Mm-hmm. Oh, Manhattan.
I'll let you answer that.
Manhattan.
Yeah, especially nowadays. Back in the day, I think the Huntington, Hermosa would have kind of been worthy. Manhattan's always trumped it, and nowadays even more so because it's the only Gold Series in California. So we'll just leave it at that.
Well, I might revise my answer. Manhattan will always be there. Huntington might not be. This year, go to Huntington. Everyone's there. There's no conflicts.
Well, if you've never been to one, and you might not go to another, you got to go to Manhattan.
Then Manhattan.
That's fair. Yeah.
But if you have plans to go to another one later down the road, go to Huntington
Manhattan's
this year. There's no
I
conflicts.
think Hermosa would be better than Huntington because at least they put up like half a big stadium.
Yeah.
The little stadium, the little like 5 benchers, like that just feels amateur.
The AYSO.
And I'm scared that they're going to do that in Huntington.
I hope not. But at least Huntington, if they put it up with the pier, then you get that natural pier.
Right.
It's Huntington's sweet. I missed Huntington.
Huntington's cool.
Yeah. I'm excited. I did the one last year, but it didn't really feel like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no.
it wasn't. That's not the full Huntington experience.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited.
I'm excited for you to experience
Huntington feels
that.
like it's very similar to what Hermosa felt like. Yeah.
Do they? You know, they started giving. I know that hotel is far, but for Manhattan, Hermosa, they did a player hotel. Are they doing that for Huntington?
I would think so.
Probably.
Similar.
My cousins live there, so I might stay with them.
Nice.
But,
Oh, there you go.
There's no shortage of options
so
down
fun.
in Huntington.
Yeah.
I lived down there for a couple years.
no, Huntington's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, which one was I gonna do? You probably touched on this a little bit, but a couple questions about recovery routine the day or two after a tournament. Maybe talk a little bit about just post tournament, but maybe how do you recover in between 2 back-to-back tournaments? I guess that's kind of a
In between back-to-back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky, and I think everyone figures it out for themselves. But I think you'll notice that older athletes, veterans, people who have been around will lean more towards active recovery, whereas like the younger athletes will just be like, I just need to party the first night or like decompress, whatever your version of party is, you know, and then lay off, like relax because my body hurts, so I'm going to rest. And then they'll slowly get back into practicing and stuff. Whereas
sounds like me.
Yeah. Well, whereas like, and it's the same way for the first, 8 years. But then I see like the veterans and they're all like working out the next day and moving. And then I'm obviously implemented that and it just works so much better for some reason. You're just not on the roller coaster anymore.
Exactly.
You know, like when you let yourself go down, you have to climb all that way back up, you know? So as you get older, you're like, I'm just not going to have to, I don't want to climb back up as far.
Yeah.
So active recovery, working out even the next day. Like there's nothing wrong with taking a day off or relaxing. A lot of times it's more for your mind than your body. But in an ideal world, you're moving the next day. You're getting all the blood flowing. You don't have to build up lactic acid and do some gnarly workout. I'm learning nowadays, like I was just in the gym before this, loading my tendons and my knee. I wasn't doing a hard workout, but I was literally just holding like, I don't know, what was it? Probably 85 pounds in a squat for like 30 seconds spurts because I'm trying to load my tendon to strengthen my tendon. Tendons like load. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent, but active recovery is best, I think. Stretching, getting the blood flowing. That's how your body's best, is when there's blood is moving and flowing throughout and not just stagnant. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. For me, what works, and like you said, it's different for everyone, is so when you compete, like you're just getting this freaking dopamine dump.
Right.
And I do a lot of sauna and ice bath or ocean, because saunas help your brain sort of regulate your dopamine levels again, and so you come back to a baseline quicker. And I think, Savvy, that'll probably help you with a lot of the mental things, because night matches are crazy for me because I can't sleep. And so the transition from Saturday to Sunday, where I finished my Saturday match at like, I don't know, we didn't leave till like midnight, and then we were playing again at 8, so I was up at 6. So we got back. We ate Raising Cane's at like 12:30 at the hotel. I probably got to sleep around 3. Yeah. Woke up at 6.
Not because he wanted to eat Raising Cane's, because
it was the only thing open.
Literally everyone was eating fast food because it's the only food we could find.
And then go right back to competing. And then so you're like, everything's out of whack. Yeah. And what I found is that doing like hot cold, it helps just like get me back to my normal baseline as fast as anything.
I couldn't agree more. I love that stuff. And I also did get into it during that time when I was like trying to figure out my mental, and it does something. Like the science is there. There's so much science on it now you can read up on, but mentally it just feels amazing.
So you would do like how many minutes in each?
There's so many different variations, but I'll do like 2 minutes in the ice, 15 in the sauna. I want to get to the point where I'm like, this is extremely cold, I'm shivering, and then get out. And then this is extremely hot, I'm burning, and then get out. Yeah. I like the extremes. Like I'm probably go for a little further than the average person, not even close as far as like Laird Hamilton. But I love that. But it also is basically the same thing as I just said, right? I said get the blood flowing, and when you're in ice, it restricts all the blood flow, and then when you get in the heat, it pumps all the blood away from your organs. So really you're just like flushing your extremities, because their survival mechanism in the cold is to pull all the blood to your vital organs, right, in the middle. And then when you're hot, it's to pump it all out. And so you're just getting a blood flush, which is basically what I said to do with moving. Yeah. Right? That's that. We're gonna be here all night.
I like that. I'm gonna start doing that.
It's
add it to the list of things I'm gonna start doing.
It's amazing mentally. If I could ice bath, and I should, there's an ice bath sitting right outside. If I could do it every day, I would.
Yeah.
The ocean's close.
Ocean's pretty close.
Ocean's close.
I also hate my problem is the heating up.
Yeah.
So I have to walk down there cold, probably.
Yeah.
Because it's usually cold here.
Yeah.
And then I have to walk all the way back. It's not the 2 minutes in the water that's getting me. It's the walking there and back.
Back up.
And then I have to be in a shower, which shower heating up takes a long time.
Yeah.
If you have a hot tub, it works great. But that's like a good 15-minute coldness. It's a little more daunting.
Dude, that's why I like the little Korean spa.
Oh, it's the best.
Man, that sauna is
Riviera
so hot.
Health Spa.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It's my routine there. I would do every Sunday, 15 sauna, 5 cold, 15, 5, 15, 5. 3 rounds of that. And for 3 days, nothing is going to bother you. And I sleep just like a champ that night. Out. Yeah. Cold.
All right.
It's nice.
Done deal.
It's supposed to be uncomfortable.
Say no more.
Yeah.
Say no more. Okay. Would you rather play someone that hits it hard every time or shoots shots?
Hits hard every time.
I was going to say the men's game
is a bit defender.
A bit different. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Well, I also think I'm overly aggressive on hits.
Yeah.
Like to a fault sometimes. People will be shooting. Like Billy Allen in that match just kept shooting over.
Yeah.
Like we started winning the match when I finally decided I'm not going to block a 1 anymore and just let him chop a high line.
Yeah.
And then everything clicked into place.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I was playing the hit is my point.
Yeah.
Yeah, shooty people are way more frustrating, but I have so much fun with the strategy element of it. When it's just a big hitter, you're like say you're playing Lev.
That's so true.
It's like I know you're hitting hard angle, Lev. You're hitting hard angle or just like the shitty line.
Right.
Yeah.
And that takes the fun strategy element. Whereas you're playing a shooter, you're like, all right, we're gonna double up now.
Yes.
Because you're playing a guy with really good vision. Doubling up is so weird for them.
Yeah.
Like, one of you has to go away from here.
Someone's moving. Someone's moving. I don't know which one's moving.
Yeah. So I'd rather play a shooter because I think it's more fun, even if it's more frustrating.
Yeah.
Whereas if you play a big hitter, it's like, well, he OT'd me again. Sorry.
I definitely can agree with you, but I'd say I get more excited when I'm like, this guy just wants. Like you get those indoor guy linguini, pinguini, whatever.
Luini Paninga. I like linguini and spaghetti.
And and they were hitting a lot at World Champs. And Trevor was sick, and I was just like, yes. They're not shooting it. I'm not making Trevor run around.
Yeah.
I was just like, perfect. I'm just gonna play the hit the whole time, and it worked.
You probably got quite a few.
Yeah, I think it wasn't insane, but Trevor basically just stood in the back the whole time. So it was the perfect team to play.
Yeah.
This is great. Yeah, remember last year you were talking all about, Theo's getting best blocker because I only block half the time. So you were padding the blocking stats.
Right, exactly.
Padding the blocking stats.
Yeah.
Serve the hitter.
I know. I'm like trying not to think about it this year. I'm like, I'm gonna set up this little rivalry with Theo of trying to win the blocker. It was like so stupid. we know we're both thinking it, and he's like, try things because he was split blocking. He can beat me, and he blocks me a lot. It's funny, so I think he thinks he has a really good beat on me. Yeah. I'm like, no. So it's good.
I think it's going to be fun,
healthy.
dude. It's fully loaded.
It's a full.
I know we're going to run into them eventually, right? Yeah. And everyone wants to see that.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Who will get
What's our time out here, Tri?
Oh, a good 120.
Let's do 2 more.
Okay. Manhattan Open gold or 4th at the Olympics?
Manhattan. Whoa.
Oh man.
So you don't have any previous Manhattans?
Yes. Like for me, like someone like me.
Okay.
Okay, that's. I mean, yeah.
I say the experience of getting to the point where you're playing in a medal round at the Olympics is more valuable than having your name on the pier forever. Because if you got to live in California and be around the pier for it to matter and stay around the volleyball community for it to really matter. But like the experience of knowing that you were in the medal rounds at the Olympics is like, absolutely. That's more valuable.
Yeah. Ditto. Everyone knows the Olympics. Really, no one knows about them.
But the volleyball people do.
But your name's on the pier
it's
forever.
It's really freaking cool. But, a storm might come, and who knows if they'll put it back. I walked on the pier, and someone's plaque is fully, like, just scraped, like, just withered away. You can't see what's on it.
No.
I'd be so pissed if that was my plaque.
That's
You're going to start polishing it every year.
Yeah, I am. Put a little polish on top, a little protecting coat.
Yeah.
Start sanding other people's down.
Screw you off.
I should do that, yeah.
Good answer. Last one we can do. What's been your favorite AVP memory?
I mean, Austin 2018.
Oh, there you
pretty
go.
much changed my life.
Cute.
I don't have a cute one. I think one of the Manhattans for sure.
Yeah.
First Manhattan probably with Trev.
Hard to disagree with that one.
Yeah.
We could probably lightning round like a 2 or 3 if
we
want to get a few more because I know we didn't do too many.
Yeah. Okay. Sav, favorite AVP memory?
I haven't had that many.
Lightning round.
It may have been New Orleans last year when me and Toni beat Em and Haley Harward and then beat Brandy and Zana to be Auto Sunday before the whole injury stuff. Yeah. That was pretty thrilling. Yeah. It was like one of my earlier events. Yeah. Or getting picked up by Zana for the Manhattan Open when I didn't qualify. Yeah. It was like, don't qualify.
And then a horseshoe up your ass. Miss Lucky Loser. Dude. 3?
2 lucky loot.
You got picked up by Zana.
Plus Zana, so I guess 3.
That's amazing.
2 in the same 2 in 3 tournaments on the same month-long trip.
Yep. That's great.
Yep. It was Maldives and the second Dubai. Like for the second Dubai one, it literally was like we lost, and I'm like, it was a team we should never have lost to, and I played so bad. Deanna Kraft picked me up, and I'm like, okay, we'll qualify, whatever. Draw was good. We had one game to get in. We had a first round bye. Played horrible. Lost in 3. Jose's like, hey, lucky loser. And I'm like, I already spent mine. Right. So I like go over there, and I didn't even know where me and Deanna stood points wise, and then they're like, oh, if this Canadian team loses, it's you two. I'm like, oh, okay. So then Deanna's like losing her mind, and I'm just sitting in there like, we're not going to get it. There's absolutely 0 chance we get this. And they pulled my name out of the hat. And everyone's sitting around looking at me like super excited, and I had no reaction. I just was like, are you serious? And outside, I walk out, I have no emotion. Deanna looks so defeated because I looked at her like no emotion. And then I was just like, got it. And she lost her mind.
Oh, that's epic. What a great feeling.
I know it's on an AVP.
I had one.
Yeah.
Very important one back in the day.
Big one. China?
Yeah, Shanghai.
Right before you and Hayden won, right?
Yeah, created a snowball effect of us doing really well.
Shooter's mentality.
My whole career, actually. After that, kind of was like, whoa, I guess we're going to be good.
That'll work.
Yeah. All right. We have a couple questions about new team nicknames. So last year was like A-Team and Slays and whatever, last quad.
I don't have any. I haven't heard of any.
You came, haven't?
No.
Trame.
Trime.
Yeah, no. I don't have any. I haven't heard any.
Yeah, I haven't heard any either.
None,
well,
right?
that's for you guys, fans. We need you guys to come up with these.
Yeah.
Me and Avery were confused as twins several times.
Twins.
I was like, I could see.
Funny.
Maybe
I could see
brothers.
I could see brothers.
No, not
but
twins.
twins. I was like, are you lady?
All you white guys look the same.
All right, let's do. What are your strategies for when to serve aggressive versus when to just be consistent?
Usually aggressive these days.
Aggressive, always.
Yeah. Well, it's because I've tweaked what that means in my mind.
Yeah.
It's more just being committed because the whole fluff it in doesn't work, and then going ace or out doesn't work. So it's just hit the same serve you were hitting earlier.
Yeah.
That's kind of it. When the pressure's on,
Yeah.
it's not like don't go get the ace. Like no, go hit the good serve.
Put in a good spot.
Go hit a good serve.
I look at every serve like I'm teeing off on a par 5. Like you want to give yourself enough distance where you can get home in 2.
Right.
But you don't want to put yourself
You
in
don't
the
need
woods.
a home run.
So we just need an 85, 90%er in the fairway. And we're
Right.
good.
Yeah.
That's how I look at every serve.
Yeah.
Just
You have
Good answer.
to train yourself to be able to serve a good serve under pressure at the end of a game and like go for it.
Yeah.
And then that's just something you have to get to the end of a game and make yourself do it, and then you get better and better at it over the years. I think.
Yeah.
This person wrote, seriously? How do you manage sun exposure? Try, you never look burned.
It's a good point.
It's impressive, dude. And you don't even have like moles and shit.
Well, so when I was like 14, I got a bunch of spots burnt off.
Okay.
I grew up in Hawaii. Literally, like I remember all the time during the summer having to sit like this, where I'm cutting off the circulation to my lower lip because it's burnt
Hurts so
and
bad.
blistering and bleeding and
Have you had issues with
like
your
every
lips
day.
since?
I just was
Oh.
fried every day as a kid because I
Yeah.
was in Hawaii and just surfing 3 times a day,
Yeah.
beach, whatever. And then I got those spots burnt out. I used to have a freckle on my lip. Like my whole look has changed.
Yeah.
Because they had to scrape off my back. My parents always getting spots because they're in the sun all the time in Hawaii. So I just committed to, I wear sunscreen. When I go in the sun, I wear a hat and I wear glasses because I see what the pterygiums that form in people's eyes, especially Hawaii, everything's exaggerated in that sun.
Yeah.
So I wear sunscreen. You know what's really funny? First time I got sunburnt that I can remember in a long time, New Orleans. I didn't wear sunscreen because it was cloudy and then we were playing at night and then I actually couldn't find my sunscreen. I was like, oh, whatever. For this match, I put my lip balm on my face and then sun ended up coming out and kind of burning me a little bit in the semi. I was like, whatever. And then I was like superstitious. I was like, well, you didn't wear sunscreen for the first one, so not for the second.
Of course.
And then that night I was like, wow, I'm fried. And then the next day I was like, I am actually peeling. Like right now I have like kind of peeling.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, you haven't got sunburn in a long time.
Oh my gosh, it was this
And
New
so
Orleans.
the question
Yeah. Wow.
happens to come up while I'm actually peeling from being sunburned
First career
Yeah.
sunburn.
for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
But I just committed. I'm like, Cam has giant scars on his back because he didn't
that's recent,
take
huh?
care of it. There's so many people out here. I don't wear sunscreen. I'm like, okay.
Logan Weber,
Okay, tough guy.
calling him out right now.
There's
Calling him
everyone does it. I get it. You're nice and bronze. It's not worth it. Like it doesn't look that good.
I just wear shirts. Best sunscreen.
Yeah, shirts is good
Just
too.
wear a shirt. It's also good to have something to fidget with. Like I just like having something to pull.
Crabs
and
don't really
tug.
wear. Oh, I shouldn't say that because they're sponsored by sunscreen. No, but I just wear sunscreen. It's simple. Sorry, that was long. Trav,
Yeah.
we might have to get you home to your child.
Yeah. Or to my wife, who probably needs me to take the child so
Right.
she
Take the
can do
child.
something.
Right, that's true. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Fun to get the full team back together.
Heck yeah.
You leave tomorrow?
I leave tomorrow for Brazil. Yeah.
Go get some.
Thank you.
Let's go.
Good luck.
Sav.
Me and
Good
Sav
luck,
will hold it
Dad.
down. Thanks.
Hope you get some sleep.
Yeah, me too. I hope Delaney gets some sleep. God bless her.
Yeah.
Shout out Delaney.
Yeah.
Champ.
Trooper.
Love you.
Cute.
Shoots.